Hey everybody, welcome back to another recap of 90 Day Fiancé the Other Way here on YouTube with Jade and XD. It's been a while since we've chatted.
2 episodes.
Yeah, but still 2 weeks is a lot in the internet.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So we're going to cover the last 2 episodes, which I want to say we at the finale.
They did not say that. There is an episode next week. Where do you be getting this from? Your asshole.
Well, because I watch it on an app, so I don't have semblance of what comes on next week.
Oh, and you could tell by the last episode it wasn't. It wasn't.
But they skipped a week, so I didn't know. Like I just 21
they?
That's what we should be. We should have 3 that we.
I think a finale will be coming up very soon, based off how things are going. But there is an episode next week.
Golly. 21 episodes. Like I was looking at the beginning, like I forgot about what's their names? I even deleted them off my little Julio and Kristen.
Or I forgot about them too.
And Kristen. And I was like, damn, this has been months. 20 weeks ago.
Yeah, no.
21 weeks we've been covering this. This is a long time. It was what, 5 months?
Oh wow.
Like, that's a long fucking time. Anyway, who do you want to start
with? Let's start with Harry Potter and Mary.
Okay. Last 2 episodes. So, episode 20 and 21. We'll go by each couple. So, it's the wedding day.
Yeah.
He's feeling rather nervous, because it's a lot of emotions, high emotions, and she has mixed emotions. Yeah. She's still not necessarily on that sure she want to marry this person, but it's kind of like, well, I mean, I don't have another choice, and my grandparents are tired of me shaming them, so I guess I'm gonna have to go on and put on my big girl drawers on
too. Yeah. But she's like, I definitely am with a sloth who plays video games all day.
Yeah, yeah. And a part of me feels really bad for her. Just in general, because nobody wants to see a woman go through like a marriage with an ain't shit nigga, regardless of what race they are. And especially when you got a baby on the way. I can't stand shiftless niggas, regardless of what color they are.
No.
So Lolo is working, so he can't even attend the wedding, which pissed me off because you did all this rigmarole about, y'all need to be all tradicional and stuff, but he up in Manila working.
I have thoughts.
Why, you think he was embarrassed?
I just want to say, we ain't seen the Swarm and Lolo at the same time. That's all I'm saying.
That's true. And which is so interesting because Mary thinks it's a bad sign that he's not able to attend the wedding.
Was a biblical swarm.
Yeah. So remember last time we chatted, Mary and his mama Ursula, whatever her name is, were chatting in the sanctuary, and she was kind of like, yeah, my child ain't shit, but I'm gonna talk to him. I'm gonna try to get him on the right and narrow.
Yeah.
And she lets him know, and what she said she was going to do. She was like, you need to step up and be a man.
You need to step up and be a man. Whoa.
Someone posted clips of Queen and Slim down the timeline, and I was like, God damn, that was an awful movie.
God, I hated it so much. It was beautiful and like useless.
Yeah.
Oh, that nigga at the end pissed me. I was like, ow, my life! I will never get this back. Then that lady told us she proposed to that white man, and I just...
Oh, just lost it. Just
chicken feet and soup.
Yeah. So, like I said, his mother lets him know that he needs to step up and be a man, and he tries to combat it. He's like, well, when I was sending money and I was able to budget, and now that I'm here I can't work, she does everything with the money. And his mama was like, so you the provider now, you the pappy now,
you also picked this life. She holds him accountable, and she's very direct, but she's also affirming, because she has a lot of faith in him. And I will say this,
he's not the worst.
Duck Hunt aside and all of that, he's not. He's actually very intentional about the way that he treats the women in his life, and the respect that he shows them. And he's young, so he has a lot of growing to do. But she told him, she was like, you step up a lot better than some of these stunted Gen X men that I know. The majority of them, actually. Which, honestly, one day we need to have a conversation about the stunted growth and arrested development of a great portion of Gen X men.
Crack. It wasn't just for niggas. Anywho. Crack is a sociological staple. It's not just the drug.
And we were talking on the show, on the main show, about Arnold Schwarzenegger becoming a governor and all this silly shit, and the Undertaker's brother being in politics. Nigga, let's talk about Ronald Reagan being a fucking actor. And also creating one of the worst...
running the motherfucking free world. What do you mean?
And then you brought crack into our community. Stop letting entertainers into politics.
Sandblasted it. So anywho, it's the wedding day. And the mayor is the officiant of the wedding, and it's a very pretty ceremony until we'll get to
gorgeous. The mayor looks wholly annoyed that he has to marry this white man.
Yeah, I didn't understand. Maybe that's just the law of the land, because he did not want to be there, and maybe because he knew what was about to happen. Yeah. But he was like,
he conspired with Lolo.
All right, let's wrap this shit out.
We didn't see Lolo, and we didn't see the mayor no more. And then all of a sudden, it was biblical cello.
Yeah, it was, for what it was a very beautiful shotgun wedding.
It was.
It was. It was very intricate, and she looked beautiful.
It was quaint. It was lovely and tropical, and she looked really pretty. Didn't last
48 long. Days. However, and on the 7th day,
after they smeared the blood of lambs on the doorposts, and the frogs all cleared out.
That's how you know the union was not washed in the blood of the lamb, because locusts came.
Baby, and it's not lost on me that they was out there hunting for frogs, and frogs in abundance. Now it was locusts.
I have locusts, or whatever the fuck these bugs were, just came in like a thief in the night, and so much they attacked production. Production was pissed.
They couldn't even pretend to not be there. They was like, turn to cut the lights, and he's like, nigga, I'm trying. Lights off.
It was pure. It was like when the Titanic went down. It was just pure pandemonium.
Iceberg, right? No, I didn't. I'm gonna tell you, it was a small part, but it made me laugh hysterically because mother, whatever, the mom, Brandon's mother.
Oh yes.
She's having a full blown panic attack, y'all. Anxiety attack. He's got to get her into the van. She already told us. Remember from early, she don't like bugs. And for those who don't watch and they just listen to the recaps, when we say this was a literal storm of insects, it was
it should have been on your weather app.
They thought it was a fog coming in, but it was all bugs. So she's having a conniption. The bugs are, I I'm not joking when I say that this was from God and Lolo. Like, they were all over her dress. They're all over his shirt. They're in people's hair. They're everywhere. They had to clear out. So they're on the way back home. Mary getting all bit up. They in her titties. They in her wedding dress. They in the cake. They in everything. Mom is crying and hyperventilating. And finally she calms down and she's like, have you ever seen this before? And Mary goes, no. I was like, they were not prepared for what this was. This was not normal under any circumstances whatsoever. I don't care where you from, what region you live in.
They were ill prepared.
Yeah.
And also, in the midst of all this, while he's doing this to fan away, the ring falls out of his hand.
Child, it was very my girl. It was such a I just knew that nigga was about to die.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
It also didn't help that he looks like Macaulay Culkin.
Exactly. He's sitting here like the glasses and wiping his hair, and I was like, "Oh no!" I was like, "His glasses! He can't see without his glasses." So sad. So sad.
Yeah. It's so interesting because he went on to be the icon as Macaulay Culkin.
Oh yeah.
She went on to do Veep.
She did, and looked exactly the same. Exactly the same.
Yeah. He found the ring. And that was them. Honestly.
Yeah. They get back to the house, and bugs are all in the wedding cake. They didn't even get to cut their wedding cake or any of that. But Mary is surprisingly positive for even all of this, because I just knew. I said she's gonna call this whole shit off. She's gonna say this was a sign from God, and all the saints sent this shit, and this was the omen that she's not supposed to do this. But she said this is new beginnings. You know what I'm saying? And I have faith now that your paperwork is gonna be in order. That you're gonna put some effort into making sure our family is taken care of. So we're going to see what happens. They scraped those bugs off that wedding cake and proceeded to try to have some sort of exchange. Mother is very much embracing Mary at this point, recognizing where she jumped off the deep end initially. And also, Mary was a piece of work. Mary's still a piece of work. Let's be clear. She said multiple times, "I'm so happy I'm married because he can't leave me." And I was like, "All right, we've still got some work to do, but you're
That's
not
abuse, mama.
It's not the as awful as I initially thought." So yeah, that was pretty much them. Let's go to White Shekinah.
Okay, sure.
In Sarper.
So, we're back at the scene of a crime. Remember, they're arguing with each other at the spa loudly about children. She doesn't want any more children because she's a woman of a particular age, and she also just doesn't have interest in raising any children because she didn't do it the first time.
Including
so why
the one
would you
that
think
is
she was going to
there
do it?
And living and breathing.
Yeah. Whereas, he has a child that he will never know. Well, I'm not going to say never, but has no idea how to get in contact of, and because he's 40 plus, he feels as though that this is the right time for him to have a child, and he's pissed because the one woman that he is making all these concessions and sacrifices for,
allegedly,
bare minimally, he doesn't know how to deal with that.
He also just had this realization in front of all of us, and initially told her he too did not want to have children, and they were on the same page, and then all of a sudden he wanted to have children, and it was very important to do so, and now they are in the throes of contention.
So he feels that she's not even trying to hear him about the situation, and
she has to be more flexible. I'm bending. She's like this.
Yes. And when she shuts down in this conversation, she was like, I told you. And ultimately, this is my body, my choice. No.
Yes.
And he goes off the deep end and says,
you don't even cry. You're on the verge of losing me and you don't cry. I'm sorry. None of this is funny, but Sarper's delivery.
oh, no, it was hilarious. Because it was like, because, like someone was talking about the other day how Romeo and Juliet is far from like a romantic story. This was very much like
awful.
A Shakespearean, like,
he's
so dramatic.
Said
like
everything wrong.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never met anybody who has said that many wrong things in succession.
I do.
I don't care if I lose
Republicans.
you. It'll take 2 days to forget you.
Republicans all the time. Yes. He goes, 2 days and I forget. I was like, damn, Sarper.
Like, you can't say that. You can't say that. And that for a brief moment I was on her side. I was like, well, damn.
Same.
She was like, well, this was a mistake. All these niggas that were in my life were right. That I tried to prove them wrong. I'm out here looking like a dummy bitch in Turkey. And then he was like, well, book your flight as soon as possible.
Yeah. Well, book it as soon as possible.
I said, Sarper is sassy.
What?
King of sass.
No, Sarper is very, very spicy. He's very spicy.
And emotionally abusive.
And emotional.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And emotionally unregulated.
He doesn't know how to manage these new emotions that he's allowed himself to feel since he suppressed them all these years with being with 2,500.
And all of a sudden, white Shekinah Kardashian is in charge of mitigating and managing
his whole mundo around.
Baby, it did, because she's the only woman for me. That is true love. It is the first time I've experienced true love. So the next episode, she's packing her shit. She's like, you told me book a flight and get the fuck on.
She saunters into the apartment silently.
Baby.
And just looks and is like, oh, this is mine.
Yep. Starts to get her shit together. I'm going to the telly. What was that? A Sheraton? What was that?
The Radisson. Radisson Istanbul.
So she's packing her things so she can go to the Radisson Istanbul so she can book her flight and get on. And here he go throwing a tantrum. Also continuing to say all of the wrong things. My anxiety is out of control. She's like, you did it to yourself. I thought she was bluffing.
So I called her bluff. And now
he goes, and now she starts packing. I get scared. So then he loses his shit, comes throwing her shit out of the suitcase. Oh, no, you go nowhere. I was like, Sarper! If I was in front of him, I would have smacked his hand. First of all, you don't touch nobody's stuff. Cardinal Rule 101.
Stop touching people's stuff. God, I feel like we say that every week.
Because it bears repeating, because niggas won't stop touching niggas' stuff. So
I hate that. Don't steal. Stop touching people's stuff.
And, I will say, white Shekinah got a tinge more of a backbone than I thought she did until she doesn't.
Me too.
And she's like, don't touch my shit. Get out of here while I pack my shit because I need my peace. And I'm not dealing with you. Every time he called the bluff, she did not back down from the bluff. So here we are. She goes to the hotel. If you go to hotel, I'll delete you. She was like, copy, nigga. That's the nail in the coffin. So he is digging himself into a Sarper-esque hole. She goes to the telly, and here he go, playing boom boxes outside her window, sending her sad ass puppy dog videos.
My note says he has been begging and pleading, being common in the come close video. So she's confused.
Exactly.
Because he's outside of her window, just going like this. Put down your bags, love.
Okay.
I know in
a trench coat with a boombox.
Yeah.
He's like, I fucked up. So then finally she's like, all right, I'll have a conversation with you. Now, when Sarper gets sincere, it's just so entertaining. I'm so embarrassed and I feel guilty. I have many stabbing pains and I can't breathe.
It's like Shakespeare. It's just drama.
I have many stabbing pains and I can't breath. I say I will forget you in 2 days. It's a lie. I wake up, I smell your pillow. I can't forget you. You are the great love of my life.
Yeah. And she's like, you can't keep doing this I say shit that I don't mean when I'm upset. She was like, that shit ain't gonna work with me, nigga. And he's like, all right. You're right. I can't live without you.
And she's like, and I don't want child. I'll never bring children up again. And it's like, your pendulum.
Like, no, that's stupid.
Yeah, that desire doesn't go away like that. His might, because it came on like that, but his pendulum, the problem is his pendulum swings so wide. And he's so emotionally unregulated and doesn't know how to express himself and communicate effectively. And so here we are.
Yeah. So, she's like, I don't know what to do. I'm confused. And I'm sure she's going to stay.
She accepted his apology.
Oh, yeah, she did.
Yeah, she accepted his apology. She forgave him. So we're going to see where the next fight is. Yeah, exactly.
That was them. Let's get Holly and Wayne out the way.
Oh, God. Her mouth.
So, Colonel Guile, he's on his way to see his Faja to get advice on his wife who hates Africa.
Yeah.
He feels slighted as a provider. He has a lot of male pride shit going on. But, he's like, I work long hours. I try to provide for my wife, but it's not good enough. So when he goes down to his father's house, he tells him what's going on. And his daddy was like, well, she got to get real. Like, you can't just up and leave to go, I'm going to go to America when shit gets rough. It's going to take some time to get adjusted in a whole new town, different customs, all of that stuff. She is just being inconvenienced right now.
Yeah, she don't like the challenge.
Yeah. And so he's like, yeah, she wants me to move to America and shit like that. I don't know. His daddy was like, well, I can't tell you what to do. However, she needs to learn. And if you don't want to, if she's supposed to be your wife or whatever, she's supposed to be down with the get down. And he repeats a whole bunch of horrible traditional man marriage relations type stuff. Which puts the battery in this man's back.
The only thing I'm going to give him is, and this is off the strength. Listen, there are people who move abroad and they have their own careers and things. Even Caucasus Yoruba priestess got her own way of bringing her money in and stuff. But Mama has come over to South Africa and she sits in the house and paints. You are slightly uncomfortable because you're not doing anything to come out of this situation because you feel unsafe. And you have somebody who has built an entire business, to say, okay, yes, let's go to your country. But if you get over there and the nigga can't find a job, you're going to have a problem. So what are we to do? You don't want to be
with nobody broke. You
right.
have all these contentions and stuff.
Now, if you was as free spirited, you're not as free spirited as you like to pretend you are. Like, oh, we only have one life and da 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 da. No, it's not that.
No, she's not.
You're uncomfortable because if you were as free spirited, then it would be like, we'll go to America and we'll figure it out. And if we have to suffer for a little bit, we'll do that. So that I can have whatever the fuck. We could be safe or whatever her reasoning is. But she don't do that. She wants him to take care of her and she wants to be comfortable in her own environment. And literally that can't happen because you married somebody from South fucking Africa.
And what people fail to realize is that in these dynamics, there's always going to be one person that's going to be completely uncomfortable.
It's right? just even what it is.
Even if y'all choose to live in America, he's going to be uncomfortable.
Somebody's going to be uncomfortable.
like it exposes how people view expats, foreigners, or people who immigrate or migrate to this country, right? Because like, well, why don't you? It's easy for me. Well,
yeah,
duh,
bitch, because you know how to navigate
here.
this fucking system. Of course it is.
Right, and it's obviously going to be easy for him because he knows how to navigate the system and where he lived for the last 40 plus years. You know, like you're gonna have to give right?
somewhere, and then you've got to figure out ways to find your own happiness, which will come up again shortly. But you've got to figure out ways to find some happiness, or you will be miserable because it is just not your environment. That's par for the course. Yeah. Now, does that mean that your partner doesn't have a right to be gentle with your feelings or understanding of your emotions, and maybe there's a way to discuss a happy medium of, okay, well, how can we make this as comfortable for you as possible while you are adjusting? Like, you don't get to just sit in the house and be miserable and say you miserable, and you don't do nothing to combat that.
No.
Especially when somebody's going to work. If they're going out to gamble, or they're going to fucking go to the club, or whatever Baby Bop was doing when he would go off and capoeira and dance and bongo on bitches' asses and shit like that, sure. Like, then let's have a conversation about how I got an issue. But when somebody is going to work because you moved over here and can't go to work yet, what do you want them to do?
Exactly.
Because later on, y'all go on a date, which means it's not that you're not spending no time together. It's not like they're not making an effort. When he come home, he's like, all right, what's up? And I hate it here. That's not helpful.
No. So they go on a date, and where they had their first date, and he tells her his concerns, and she completely ignores them. She's like, I hear you, but that's stupid, and we're gonna live in America. Why won't you love and support me? This is what I want to do. I thought if you loved me, you would do anything for me. You promised me that, and I want to live in America, so that's what I want to do. Which was required him to say some wild shit.
Yeah. I was like, that's not it, buddy.
Or prompted him to say some wild shit. Essentially, he was like, if I knew you were going to be like this, I wouldn't have married you.
Which also...
No, I didn't. Just because it was wild didn't mean it wasn't true.
Right. I was like, I wish I wouldn't have spent money and wasted my fucking time. But it wasn't helpful in the moment. And it pisses her off where she's already in an irrational state. And she calls him an idiot, and then she storms off into the night of the place that she feels so unsafe in.
She runs like Phoebe in the middle of the night. And in my head, I was like, girl, you can walk. You attracted all sorts of attention to yourself by running this way in this labyrinth. Because I was like, where are you running to? Like this big ass maze.
Where are you going? You gonna run around the fountain like a duck?
Yes.
So it's her. She's just so damn. She's just so damn fragile, and like, and I hate people who just want every single thing in their lives to be convenient for them.
Yeah.
Like every single thing. I'm not happy here. I'm not happy with this. I'm not happy with that. You don't make enough money. I am miserable in this house. I can't get a job. I don't like it here. It is unsafe.
Yeah.
The safety is valid, but we have seen an effort put in trying to make sure that you feel as safe and connected as possible. You didn't like sitting in the dark.
That nigga was willing to kill niggas by installing booby traps and shit.
Literally spraying them with acid or whatever the fuck. And then you screaming about being in the dark, and he's like, bitch, I showed you how to turn on the generator.
Yeah.
Like,
she's just like
just don't want to be there. You just don't want to be there.
Bring me back to Mormonville.
And you can't be mad that somebody is disappointed and wishes they hadn't gone through with a whole thing of time, money, efforts, and so forth and so on, just for you to be able to say, don't want it anymore. Because if the shoe was on the other foot, it would be a problem. Yeah.
But,
you changed yours. Every action has a reaction, baby. That's all I'm saying.
Well, that was them.
Yeah. Let's do hot gay dads.
Oh, yeah. Queer chata. Nothing really happened to them. They both had a jack off and cups, and that was it. Anywho, TJ and Nikki. It's literally what happened. They bust nuts and cups. It'll take about a month for them to figure out, for a baby to come, if anything, embryo to come, if anything. They both did it, so they won't know whose DNA is being taken. So
we'll figure it out, though. You look at the baby, we'll know.
Exactly. When we see that nose. So,
oh my God.
Listen.
Who are we ending with?
Let's just move on to TJ and Kim, because both of these two are right. Okay. Yeah. So there's drama in the home. With TJ,
I think they killed the daddy and buried him in the backyard because he just don't.
Or he left like James in Good Times, like he just didn't want to be a part.
And
Moodiana.
Yeah, it's a lot going on in that house.
He too is probably working in Manila because he don't want to be around the white folks in his home. So
plus Yash is married to his mom, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, he was so sassy this episode. So like a part of me,
every episode,
like this episode, first I was on their side, and then you hear when Kim talks, you're like, I understand. So there's a lot of perception issues going on, right?
And it's also a lot of just cultural differences. It's perception and perception issues and cultural differences.
And TJ being an ineffective man.
He communicates like ass, but continue.
Yeah. So it's been 3 months since they've been married. And so Yash and his mom wife are downstairs, kicking it as per usual. And TJ comes in, and they talk, and they want Kim to be social more. They're like, Kim don't come downstairs. She don't talk to us. She's been downstairs like twice in 3 months.
She ignores us.
She ignores us, like we're not gonna jump her if she come downstairs, like come on, we a family, like why won't she talk to us? And TJ is like, I don't know, I try, and and he feels like he's stuck between a rock and a hard place because he needs to support his wife, but also his family is important to him, and he's afraid of his brother and mother. So
because they killed his father.
Exactly. So he's just kind of like, well, I don't know. I don't know. I keep trying to talk to her, but she won't. She shuts me down. So then we go upstairs and talk to Kimberly. And I knew this was going to happen, but I just didn't.
Wait, hold on. Before we talk to her, we have to address Yash's comment.
Oh, he said, I'm going to make sure I marry me a Hindi girl.
He said, by God's grace, I will only marry a Hindu girl.
Yeah. He was like, absolutely not. I ain't dealing with this headache.
That nigga is standing on business.
Yeah. 10 toes down.
He said TJ went through that, so hopefully Yash don't have to go through that.
Exactly. So we go upstairs and we talk to Kimberly. Kimberly, I'm not gonna say there's nothing wrong. Kimberly's story is that she's depressed.
Yeah, and it's evident. It's evident.
Yeah, she was like, I did go downstairs, and every time I go downstairs, I'm met with attitudes and eye rolls. I'm not welcome in my home, so why would I go downstairs?
Which is valid because we have seen how his family treats her. So they treat her like she's dumb. They don't make an effort. Yash speaks English, but the mother don't make a single motherfucker of an effort. Now, I don't know. Maybe she doesn't know how to speak English. But she doesn't give a warm energy or translate. She
gives nice, nasty energy.
Yeah, and this is not even no sensitive American shit. The mom just be bitchy. So, and they don't make an effort to integrate. They want her to understand and to do the stuff, but they don't make the efforts to truly integrate her in the way that they are proclaiming they want her to be within the family.
And so she talks about boundaries, and here's where a cultural differences collide.
Yeah.
Because she's like, in order for them to go up on the roof and kick it, they got to come through my house. Which means I got to put on clothes, which I don't mind. However, they real weird, but it's my house. And I don't necessarily want niggas running up the stairs and all that like that all the time. Sometimes
so I told them they got to knock on the door if they want to go to the roof.
And they did not like that. And so she's like, I set a boundary, which wasn't a bad thing. I didn't say they couldn't.
Right.
I just said,
it also came from the fact that they wilded out on her over her holes in the knees of her jeans. And so she's like, the last thing I need you to do is wild out on me on what I got on in my house. So you got to knock on the door so that I can put on something that is deemed appropriate. Like, the girl makes an effort to respect their culture. She does. I'm going to give her that. And I don't give that to a whole lot of white women. But she makes an effort to respect their culture, and they make zero efforts to give to her at all.
Right. So, when they do try to talk and he ignores a lot, and when they fight, he goes downstairs and just isolates her. And because she doesn't have anybody to go to and confide in, he could immediately go downstairs and talk to his mama and Yash.
Exactly. So she be feeling like she in the shoe.
Yeah, right. So he comes upstairs, and she's coming to him as a wife. like, hey, listen, man. And she's very calm at first. She's like, these are the things that are wrong. She explains her frustrations very calmly and clearly and concisely.
As she
and
tends
as soon
to do.
as yes, and as soon as she's done speaking, he's like, well, if you want to go back to America, you can.
Ooh, baby, and start getting belligerent.
And she's like, what? Why do you keep saying that to me? He was like, well, I don't know what else to do. Like, clearly, if you're unhappy, go to America, fulfill your cup, and then come back. She was like, that's not what I want. I want my husband to be my husband and fucking talk to me like a human being and not scurry off to his mama.
Now, with South African sheiks, she's irrational because she don't want this nigga to go to work. She want to go home. She just want all the things. Kimberly is saying, listen, I understand that the circumstances are what they are. If you would give me a little love and affection and understanding, that might soothe the wound that I have right now. Like, I just need you to give me a little bit of emotional softness. And Papa looks at her and says, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Because my note just says, wow.
Yeah, I was like, TJ. And she was, Tejaswi. She called him by his whole name. And he goes, I'm not doing that. Now, what I felt when I was watching it, I said, TJ, we have already come to the conclusion he's a terrible communicator. He didn't explain nothing about what was going on with this wedding. He did not even attempt to make a good explanation on what the cultural roles are once she got there. He actually purposely left them out, willfully left them out.
He willfully left them out. Yeah.
But he also is a terrible communicator in general. The fact that he doesn't like confrontation, so he leaves when confrontation happens. He doesn't effectively listen to what she's saying. because she is not demanding irrational things. She is asking, and she's very specific about what she's asking for. It's very clear. He just don't want to do it. And I think he doesn't want to do it because he is emotionally overwhelmed, which understandable. Anybody who would be between two families, especially because of cultural differences, which nobody is wrong for, that can be an extremely frustrating situation, right? And then they have an idea in their minds culturally of what a traditional Indian family looks like, including when one of the sons gets married and how that grows the family and so forth. So I'm sure there's extreme disappointment, overwhelming feelings and so forth on his part. But you bring a lot of this on because you won't listen to her. You willfully won't listen to her. And because you don't listen to her, you don't hear the fact that she's not asking you for much.
She's asking you just to be a decent human being.
That's it.
She's not even asking you for like anything tangible, not anything that's going to take any time out of your day.
What I need from you is understanding.
And he doesn't like that because I guess I could feel is like in a marriage in their culture, he wouldn't have to deal with the emotional aspects of it, right? Cause
no, that's why Yash said what he said.
Yeah, so that's why he refuses to, because he doesn't feel like he needs to.
Which is a problem. I also don't
think he knows how to, because you have to learn how to be emotional. And he is just emotional. Yes, and he doesn't. He's emotional without the reins or having to know how to channel or communicate those emotions. Right?
Yeah. So his solution is go back to the States. Go back to the States. Mm-hmm. And then by the time, then she gets so frustrated, rightfully so, because you got somebody who just won't listen to you. She screams. She's I got to get this out. She screams. He leaves, runs downstairs, tells his mother she's making his life a living hell. And his family, of course, because they got his back, are all like, well, she needs to go back to the States then and leave us in our peace. And that is where we are leaving off. This is just not a good situation. I think either one of them are bad people. I don't think he is ready to be married whatsoever.
No, and I feel like, and it's really unfortunate because you have somebody who is really interested in learning and being a part of your culture. She has not interjected many Western things, and even if she did, she wants to know, well, why? Like, if I can't do this, well, what's the understanding? Like, the whole garlic and onion thing, like, she eventually got over that, right? She's like, okay, fine. Well, maybe she didn't.
We don't hear this girl combating a whole lot. We don't hear her disrespecting, and that's rich. You know what I'm saying? That's a rich statement. Okay, you know, she's a white girl from Alabama, and we have not heard her express any problematic rhetoric about their culture, disrespectful rhetoric about their culture. She not only wants to be a part of it, she admires it. She admires it from a respectful stance. She's like, I don't want to do nothing to offend people. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything that they start fussing about, she puts some action behind it. And she's got zero support on her side of things. So I just feel like their cultural differences might be so vast that that's what's going to be their demise.
Yeah. Well, that was them.
Oof.
All right.
Oof.
So much for planting those bananas and coconuts in the middle of the damn swamp.
Them eggshells didn't do shit.
Nah.
And this is why white people should not practice African spirituality.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can acknowledge that it is a thing. You can acknowledge that it is true to the cultures that can participate in it, but you should respectfully observe from the outskirts. I'm not trying to be up in no Nordic religious practices like to make my ancestors.
No, absolutely not. I don't know what they do.
And yet and still
kill yaks and shit.
I felt bad for this lady.
Yeah.
Because she didn't deserve this like this.
That nigga.
Demon spawn.
Yeah. I get very uncomfortable with like physical confrontations.
Yeah, no, I didn't like that. I don't like it.
I didn't like it. So they're in the midst of breaking up, right? Remember last time they were sitting about to go deliver the toys for Tots, so he was like, "Oh no, I'm not paying you January rent because I won't be here."
Yeah, I'm sick of paying rent.
Right, and she's like, all she just kind of is like, okay. She holds herself in. She gets herself together. She's like, well, we have to go deliver these toys for Tots, so let's just do that, and we'll get this out the way. So she pushes through that, and he's like Big Daddy Santa Claus, Santa Claus, and you know he's all the kiddies love him and think he's God's gift to things, and meanwhile he's rotten inside. So they get back in the car, and she's like, what do you want to do now? And he was like,
get my shit.
Get my shit. I don't want to go back to my mama's house dressed in the Santa Claus outfit. So
I wouldn't have given a fuck.
I would have left him on the side of the road.
Absolutely. I wouldn't have asked him a motherfucking thing. I would have gotten that car and left.
So they get back to the Chris naive. And this nigga is packing. He's packing his clothes. And she's like, no.
Hey.
You need to only bring the things that you brought into this house, not the things I've purchased.
And whereas normally I would be like, ooh, pity. No, a big giant part of your argument is that she didn't do shit for you. Is that she owed you all these things. But money, as you're packing your shit, it looks like more than half of them clothes came from her. Papa got a whole mound of Yankee caps. You didn't buy them caps. You didn't buy them short sets. You didn't buy them Big Poppy Miami Havana clothes. You didn't buy none of that shit. She didn't do shit for you, remember? So I was on board. I was like, yeah, I didn't do shit for you, remember? Leave the shit that I didn't do for you.
She was like, and he tried to take the hanger. She's like, no, give me that shit back. This shit is mine.
No, I didn't do shit for you. Remember?
Then he tried to take the dog. He was like, I bought it. And this is where it got escalated because he's like snatching the dog and she's like crying. Like, cause she held herself together for the moment. But I also was like, no, give her the dog. Like, that's fucked up. Like,
and somewhere along the line, she got the dog because as he's leaving out of the house, she got the dog in her arms. So I don't know what happened, but I don't like that and then the dog. Do you know how much trauma you're putting on this animal by picking it up all rough? And you don't do that. You don't be messing up breathing, living things, nervous systems because you want to be a fucking asshole. Like, that nigga is a dark-hearted nigga. So, and an entitled dark-hearted nigga. So she is so emotional. She's kicking production. She's kicking everybody out the crib because it has gone too far at this point. And then we move on to the next episode. So it's been about a month since he left. And whereas initially, remember, she was like, you're not taking this shit. Now she's like, you know what? He can have all this shit. I don't want no parts of nothing that has nothing to do with him. How she switched so quickly, and we've also heard this so many times before, but this really put the nail in the coffin. She got a text from a lady who told her she'd been in a relationship with him for the past 2 years. She has been in their apartment because, remember, Mama hosts retreats. See? You doing work you ain't supposed to be doing. So she has been there when Mama's been hosting retreats. She has been to Santo Domingo to hang out with Yohan. He been to the telly. And not only is it her, she has paid his parents' mortgage. She has met his father and his uncle. He asked her to pay the attorney fees for his divorce because that's his MO. And he's been constantly in communication with this lady for the last 2 years. In addition to 6 others. Go ahead.
He was sending out dick pics when they was giving out toys for tots.
I don't think that actually. I think he was sending dick
either
pics
way,
the Christmas before that.
Either way, still, that's a lot.
Like, this is big going on.
Mm-hmm. So, then she's lying to herself in production, talking about they've had a beautiful life together.
Okay, hold on. I literally put in quotes, "We had a beautiful life." Girl, we have been here with you.
Yeah.
The full year that y'all have been together.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was never beautiful.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Like, literally never. It was never beautiful. Yeah. Even when it was like calm, it was not beautiful.
Not at all. And that was them.
Yeah, she admits to wearing her rose-colored glasses, which, you know, I guess you just wanted this to work out so bad. But, Mama, you have those on from the moment that you laid eyes on him.
Yeah, because, you know, she likes a exotic-looking nigga.
Mm-hmm.
And,
yeah. She wants somebody
she thought
who's
that
not
she
white.
could control him and things, you know?
Yep.
But couldn't.
No, you can't. You can't control a demon.
Mm-mm.
You can't control a demon. So, yeah, we'll see you all next week when we figure out if Mama's moving back to Alabama.
Yeah. Bye, y'all.